I forgave him. So why do I still feel like this 6 months later? That's a question I've heard from more wives than I can count. Today's a follow-up to the episode of What She's Not Telling You. This time, we're talking about what forgiveness actually looks like and why it's not just a single moment. For men chasing purpose over comfort, this is the Intentional Guy Podcast. A lot of men think forgiveness means the subject is closed. She said she forgives you, so why does she still flinch when your phone buzzes? Forgiveness is not forgetting. It's not pretending the wound never happened. It's a decision to release the debt, made new, sometimes daily, while the healing catches up to the decision. Your wife can forgive you completely and still need 6 months, a year, even longer before trust feels safe again. That's not unforgiveness. That's healing on its own actual timeline, not yours. Here's the truth men don't want to hear. Rebuilding trust usually takes longer than the affair or the habit itself took to build. If this went on for 2 years, expect the rebuilding to take longer than 2 months of good behavior. That's not punishment. It's just how trust works. It was broken slowly in small moments she never saw. It gets rebuilt in the same way, slowly in small moments she does see. 3 things have to be present consistently for trust to actually rebuild. Transparency, not because she's your warden, but because secrecy is what got you here. Full access to your phone, your account, your whereabouts, offered freely, not extracted under pressure. Patience with her questions, her triggers, her bad days that seem to come out of nowhere. A song, a location, an anniversary can bring it all back up. That's not her failing to move on. That's grief showing up on its own schedule. Consistency. The same man on day 400 that you were on day 1 of this process. Trust isn't rebuilt by big gestures. It's built by 10,000 small, boring, faithful days. Your job in this season is not to convince her you're better now. It's to actually be different and let the evidence speak over time. Stop asking, "Do you trust me yet?" That question puts the burden back on her when the burden is yours to carry. Instead, keep showing up. Keep the transparency going, even after it stops feeling necessary to you, especially then. Being intentional here means you don't get to set the pace. You don't get to decide when she's healed enough or when it's time to move on. Your job is to keep choosing her patiently, on purpose, on her timeline, for as long as it takes. That's not weakness. That's what love looks like when it's actually being tested instead of just being talked about. Here's something practical I'll tell any man in this season. You don't just wait for her to heal. You actively pursue her the way you did before you ever had her. Court her again, not because you're trying to earn back what you lost through gestures, but because she needs to feel seen, not just informed that you've changed. Practically, that looks like planning time together that has nothing to do with fixing the marriage, just being with her. Noticing the small things she says and following up on them later. Putting your phone away when she's talking so she can see, not just hear, that she has your full attention. Tell her in your own words often, not just that you're sorry, but that you see her, that you love her, not because she's earned it back from you, but because she's who you chose and who you're choosing again every day. A woman who has been betrayed doesn't just need proof you won't do it again. She needs to feel wanted again on purpose without her having to ask for it. Here's something I believe with everything in me. God is not just in the business of patching marriages back together. He's in the business of restoration. And restoration doesn't mean returning to the way things were. Joel 2:25. I will restore to you the years that the swarming locust has eaten. God doesn't just forgive what the locust ate. He gives back years. That means the marriage on the other side of this doesn't have to be a lesser version of what you had. It can be deeper, more honest, and more anchored in Him than it ever was before the wound. That doesn't happen by accident, and it doesn't happen fast, but it happens when both of you keep bringing this to God instead of just to each other. Because trust between two people has limits, and only God can rebuild something all the way back to the foundation. If you're the husband in this, hold on to the hope and let it fuel your patience. This season is not the end of your story. It might be the start of the best chapter of your marriage if you let God write it. If you're a wife listening to this, you are allowed to still feel angry, sad, or anxious, even after you've forgiven him. Forgiveness releases him from your judgment. It doesn't obligate you to erase your own pain on a schedule that's convenient for him. You are also allowed to need to feel safe before you feel close again. Safety isn't a lack of trust in God. It's just being honest about where you actually are right now. 1 Corinthians 13 says, love keeps no record of wrong. But it doesn't say love has no memory at all. You can release the debt and still need time to heal from the wound. I've watched this play from both directions. The husband's desperate for the trust to come back faster than it can, and the wife exhausted from being asked to hurry her own healing. What I've seen work isn't a technique. It's a husband who stopped managing his wife's timeline and started just being faithful day after day, regardless of how long it takes her to feel safe again. 1 Corinthians 13, 4-7. Love is patient. Love is kind. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. That's not a wedding verse. That's a rebuilding verse. Patient, protecting, preserving. That's the whole season you're in. Husbands, stop asking for the timeline. Start being the same faithful man on the hard days as the easy ones, and start courting your wife again, like she's worth pursuing, because she is. Wives, your healing is not on his clock. Take the time you actually need and let yourself feel safe before you feel close again. And both of you, bring this to God, not just to each other. He's not just able to repair this marriage, he's able to make it better than it ever was. Let's get coffee. Let me be your brother and let me walk beside you.